Hello, welcome to the Unfamous Files. We're
Hello.
here today with, yes, the wonderful Miss Orla. Um, we first met Orla when we were all on a pilot together, called
hmm
Kaboom. And
Yep.
all
Crazy, wacky, insane type of Doctor
action
Who vibe,
comedy, sci-fi.
Yeah, but
all the things.
everything.
Um, so we've known Orla for a couple of years. We did a retake this year of some reshoots this year as well. And Orla,
Yeah.
before we get into it, can you just give us a little rundown of like your journey and how you ended up in Sydney because you're originally from Perth?
I am from Perth, yes. So acting is actually something I kind of fell into. I wasn't intending to. I was very much the shy kid in primary school, would always be sitting in the corner drawing in my sketchbooks. But in order to get into the high school that I wanted to get into, I wasn't in the catchment zone, so I had to get into one of their specialist programs in order to get into the school.
Oh,
So I applied for their arts program, but it was a visual and performing arts program. So I applied with my like visual portfolio, but I had to do the performing side of it as well. So I was kind of
yeah,
like pushed into acting and music and media.
yeah.
And then, yeah, I fell in love with that side of things. And then I was like, oh, actually, getting on stage is fun. Performing is fun now. I want to do this. So,
I
yeah, I
love
got
that.
an agent after school. Yeah.
I never knew that you could draw or paint
Yeah,
or what.
literally what I've been sitting here thinking, going, I didn't know you were acting that way.
I want to see.
Yeah.
Well,
I know. Do you still
I
do that
started,
stuff?
yeah.
Do you still do
A
that
little bit,
stuff
but
a little
not
bit?
as it's kind of
Yeah.
like a side hobby every now and then.
Yeah.
I feel like I find different creative outlets all the time. I just go through
Mm.
random phases, but
Yeah.
every now and then I'll go back to drawing or I'll do a little bit of painting, but not anywhere near as much as I did when I was a kid.
And it's just
Yeah.
this just came to me randomly. But your mum's your agent. Um,
Yeah.
was she an agent before you got into acting, or was that something she fell into
was she
No.
always
later?
No. So my mum was actually an actor when I was growing up. So it's weird that I didn't get into acting because of her.
Mm.
She had stopped acting at that point, and I, yeah, got into the school program. She never wanted me to get into acting because obviously she was doing it herself, and she was like, "This is
It's
this
a
is a
tough
lot. I
industry.
wouldn't wish
Yeah.
this on anyone." Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, I joined an agency in Perth, and then I've had a couple of different agents. I had one in Sydney, and then my mum opened her own agency up because she saw that I was, kind of it was picking up in the industry for me, and I was starting to, do some things. And she was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I kind of miss this industry a little bit, so I might start an agency." She was like, "I'm not going back into the acting world, definitely not, but I want to be in the industry in some way."
Oh my God,
I would
it'd be so interesting for us to chat to her one time to see her view on how different the industry is as an actor's point of view to then being an agent as well. Like I'm sure it's a
For
completely different
sure.
ball game for her.
do you feel
Yeah.
like almost now that your mum's your agent, like safer that your mum's your agent and kind of watching your back, or do you ever have like friction between each other because you have to have like now a working relationship, or no, it's just like it feels like better?
No, it's definitely really worked out really, really well for me.
Mm,
Mum and I have we've run a business together before, so we've had a working relationship in the past anyway.
mm, mm.
So we've always kind of been able to have that relationship. And I mean, her being like a single mum, it was just me and her all my life. So we've kind of
Mm.
had that close relationship
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
So doing the agency, it's been great. Like I feel a lot of even the other actors, I've heard some of them call her like Mama Liv or something because she's just like the mum of
Oh,
all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
love that. That's what
it's
every actor dreams of with their agent. I feel like having a close relationship and not feeling like they're getting left
yeah.
behind and that kind of stuff. It's great she's created that for her
Yeah.
actors. Was she the person who sort of pushed you into coming to Sydney, or did you want to do that yourself
No.
before? Yeah.
I definitely wanted to do that myself. She's never like really pushed me into anything. She's always just kind of been like, whatever you want to do, go ahead, go
Mm,
for it. I'll support you kind of thing. So I've
mm.
definitely never felt a push in any way. It's more just support.
Yeah.
I always wanted to live somewhere other than Perth since I was a kid. Even before I was acting, I was like, I want to live in a different city at some point.
Yeah.
Um, and so I actually originally did Melbourne first. I did a year in Melbourne.
That's
Um,
right. I
yeah,
remember you
yeah.
saying
So
that. Now that it's coming back to me.
yeah, yeah. I went over there to pursue acting, but I got really distracted with modeling over in Melbourne because, it's quite a big fashion capital there. And then COVID hit, and I was actually doing modeling work at the time in Bali, and COVID hit, and then my mum was like, "You got to get back to Perth because they're going to shut down." And I was like, "No, no, it'll be fine." I'm so glad I listened to my mum. She is always right. I packed up my apartment in 2 days, got back to Perth an hour before they locked us
Well, you
out.
guys were actually a lot better in Perth than anywhere else in Australia. Like,
I'm so glad I got back to
yeah,
Perth and I didn't stay in
I
Melbourne.
know. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And poor Melbourne had the literally worst of it.
The worst of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you moved to Sydney
So I dodged the bullet.
after COVID then. So Sydney came after
Yeah.
COVID? Yeah.
Yes.
And
yeah.
was that just like again, you wanted to try a different kind of state to see what it was like, just living in general?
Yeah, so I think during COVID, like a lot of us, we kind of took some time off. So I took probably about a solid year off acting and modeling. And I think through that period, I realized that I just really wanted to focus on acting. And so I got rid of my modeling agency at the time, and I just got back into my acting, and I kind of dedicated myself for a year in Perth to really focus on acting there. And then was working really consistently in 2021. So I was like, you know what, I wasn't planning to stay in Perth. I only came back for COVID anyway. And I was like, I'm going to do Sydney this time. It's going to be a fresh start, and I'm just going to fully focus on acting. And I know that Sydney is probably one of the better places for film and TV anyway. Like, I wanted to focus on screen. So I was like, I'm going to get a Sydney agent. Once I get a Sydney agent, I'll fly over and I'll move there and like dedicate myself to acting and not get distracted by other things. And so, yeah, that's what I did. I spent my first like 6 months to a year of my Sydney life really, really, really focused on acting and nothing else.
Yeah, I love that. And Orla's just about to go to an audition after this Zoom as well. How do you feeling about the industry right now? Because it's a bit up and down at the moment, and there's some real
It's been a weird year.
It's been a weird year.
Auditions, but then they're like, you said they're really good auditions, they're not unsuccessful. Like, it's just a very odd kind of year. How have you felt? And living away from home as well and everything. Like, how does that feel like it's a bit weird in
the industry?
It's been a lot. Definitely this year has been really weird. I know a lot of us are feeling it, and not just the actors as well, even casting directors I've spoken to and agents and things. Like, everyone's feeling it's been a weird year. And I think a lot of us like just find other things to do or like make our own work, or because you can't rely on the industry to provide you with the work. Sometimes you just have to create it yourself in order to stay sane. This year's been weird. And I mean, I usually do quite a lot more commercial auditions, and weirdly this year there wasn't I still had like quite a lot, but compared to the last couple of years, it was
you say this all, but you are still on my TV all the time on commercials. Like, every time I go to see, I go, oh, there's Orla. He goes, stop, you're saying the same name over. I said, it's because it's the same girl. She's in all these ads. I'm telling you, she's like the queen of commercials. And I think, like, obviously, it's such a different, I feel like, commercials. It's almost like you have so many different versions of acting. Like, you've got auditioning. You film your television, but then people say, like, that soap operas are a whole different ballgame. But then I think commercials are a whole different ballgame. Like, there's a fine art in trying to make a commercial natural, but with something a little bit extra you have a complete idiot. Because you're always asked to do something fucking random, especially in the auditions. Like, it's always like, how do you what do you think that you do differently to other people that makes you so successful with them? Like, I know you have an amazing look. Like, your look is so versatile. And so
it helps. I definitely think the eyes definitely help. I get that a lot. I think just having big expressive eyes, they're always just like, whoa, what's that? I can see everything you're thinking. I'm like, it's just because they're big, you can't look at anything else.
You don't even have to do much. You're like, you don't even have to do much. Like, and your eyes do it all.
They're just like, give me a close-up, just get on the eyes. No, I think honestly, I auditioned for so many commercials before I actually booked one. Like, it took a long time. They definitely didn't just fall into my lap. I probably did like 70 or 80 commercial auditions before I actually booked one. like I was auditioning a lot, and I think it was just the practice of constantly auditioning for them that I was figuring out what I was doing right and what I was doing wrong. It helped. I always would just look up it's so simple, but the brand that you're auditioning for, just look them up, see what their brand colors are. If you can wear their brand colors as well, it's just
I
like this
never thought
weird,
of
like,
wearing brand color. That is actually, that's a good one, Orla. That's a good one. Have you thought about Vodafone that one time? Like if you go for, let's say, Vodafone, or very obvious red, but I didn't even think about that for other brands.
Yeah.
That's smart, girlfriend. I like that.
Yeah. And then even like there's ones where you'd be able to find some of their ads that they'd recently done. So you could get a bit of the vibe as to what they like for their ads. Yeah. And it only takes like 5-10 minutes to just do like a tiny bit of research on the company. And then, yeah, you've already got like a bit of a leg up to everyone
Those
else.
are some fab tips, Orla. Yeah.
Oh, you
dropped out a little bit.
Hello?
Yeah.
We're back.
Yeah, you're back. Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna be using those tips myself because as we all know, like when things are a bit stale in the film and television industry, commercials are like an amazing way to make some extra cash.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But now I love what you said before that you're always trying to look for new things and try different things when the industry goes a bit stale.
To stay creative and stay busy.
One of those things that we have loved watching your journey from
the outside
is how you fell into this kind of cabaret industry as well and performing. And did that just start from you recreationally learning how to do pole dancing and stuff as a fitness thing? And did it kind of like, can you tell us a bit about this journey? Because what came first? Because I know that you started working at a cabaret. I know that you started at a cabaret bar, but did that come first, or did your interest in like learning how to do the pole dancing stuff come first?
No, so I mean, when I was living in Perth, I used to go to Fringe World quite a lot, and I always loved going to the cabaret, circus, burlesque shows. They were my favorites, and I always thought it'd be really sick to be in one of those shows one day, but I just never really thought that would actually happen. And so then I ended up just because I had an interest in what they were doing, like the silks and the aerials and the pole and like all of the circus things. So when I was in Perth, I started doing aerial silks, and just fell in love with that. Yeah. And then when I moved to Sydney, I found aerial sling and I was doing that for a bit. But then the studio that I was at closed down and I was like, well, I need to find something else that I can do where I'm swinging around in the air. And my friend started doing pole dancing.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, why don't you try pole dancing? You know, you're using like similar skills and similar muscles. And I was like, sure, why not? Give it a go. And I fell in love with it. It was a really good community of people. And I remember I had only been going there for 2 weeks and they were having a showcase and the owner of the studio was like, do you want to perform? Do a solo? And I was like,
yeah, a big solo moment.
Why not? Sure. So after only 2 weeks of pole, I was like performing and I loved it. And I was like, oh, cool, I could do this. And so I had a friend that was working at the Cabaret Club and I was seeing all her stories. And it was my friend who introduced me to her. She was like, oh, you should talk to Matilde. She's working at this cabaret club. She might be able to get you a job there. And I was like, yeah, all right, I'll send her a message. And she was like, yeah, we're actually looking for waitresses at the moment. So I started as a waitress there. And it was just kind of like to have a side job and to be able to, you know, watch some free cabaret shows.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Yeah. And then within a couple of weeks of working there, the boss there was like, she just heard how I was speaking to the customers and she was like, you'd make a great MC. Would you be interested? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I started MCing there. And then she saw my pole videos on Instagram and she was like, oh, you can do pole. Like,
things. Yeah.
why don't you start performing? And I was like, yeah, I would love to. So now she's just kind of given me the free reins to put some shows together. And I just produced an Addams Family burlesque show for Halloween. And
that looked amazing. That looks so great.
Do you find that
it was really fun.
Do you find that you kind of have almost like a leg up on some of the other performers because of your acting background and everything? It's like tapping into those different characters. Because you're so specific when I watch your shows and stuff like that with really different characters and tapping in. It's actually a great way to
Cleopatra. You had Cleopatra.
Those muscles as well.
Yeah, I do. I definitely, when I put together a routine, because we choreograph our own routines and do our costumes and our music and everything ourselves. So I always like, as an actor, you're a bit of you're a storyteller, really. So when I'm doing a performance on stage as well, whether I'm dancing or I'm acting or I'm singing on the pole, I'm like, I've got to have some sort of story that I'm telling. So I always bring that into my costume and my performance and my routine and my music. And I try and have a bit of a storyline, even if the audience doesn't pick up on it, as long as I know that there's some kind of story that I'm following, then I feel good.
Yeah, do you feel like the first time you stepped out to do your first solo show, was that like way more nerve-wracking than you were expecting, or did you feel okay because you're used to performing for people?
But had you done like much theatre or anything before that?
So, I mean, all of my high school part of the program, that was all theatre. So I actually did all do theatre before I did screen. So I think getting back on stage was kind of like I had been missing performing for live audiences for a while anyway. So I was super excited, but definitely nervous at the same time for sure, because it had been so long.
Yeah.
And I was doing something different as well. Like I was doing a pole, which was already new to me. And then for the first time, but then as soon as I got on stage in front of the audience, the nerves just disappeared and I was just in my zone and I loved it. And I was like, yeah, I've missed being on stage and having that immediate feedback from the audience as well. It just fuels you. It's like an adrenaline rush.
It is. It's like a full adrenaline rush. So like one of the things I miss most about acting school is when we used to have those performance nights and stuff in front of people and getting people's live reaction to what you're performing, what you're doing. It's the one time you can really feel that people are connected to you when you're performing, and I love that.
Because when you do self-tapes and everything now, which is obviously everything pretty much mostly through self-tape, you're just like, okay, well, hope that was good.
Yep.
Felt something through the camera, don't know. See if I ever hear back from it.
You also this year you filmed and wrote like your first short film as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
How did you find that experience? Had you done any, like, because I know we started writing during COVID when everything was still and there was nothing to do. So we're like, we're trying to find something way to stay creative. And we ended up really enjoying it. How have you found, I know a lot more actors these days are getting into the writing side and wanting to start telling stories. How have you found that when you did that? Was it hard? Harder than you expected, or did it come easier than you thought?
It was definitely, I think, the writing aspect. I got the idea with a friend, and then so it was nice having the kind of motivation of another person having this idea with you, and then it was much easier to write the script, just knowing that there was someone else that was like, how's it going? What's it looking like? Did you think about this thing with this character? So it was nice to have someone to kind of bounce ideas off. Yeah. And then all of the pre-production I actually really liked. I loved all of the putting together a pitch deck, getting my crew together. I loved all of that. I loved doing all the casting, and then on set as well, I directed it. And so I think directing was my favorite part of the whole process. I fell in love with directing. I was like, I think this will be my thing if I don't continue it. Like if I want to do something
if you go down that path,
then I think the directing part I definitely fell in love with. And even when I'm doing self-tapes with friends, if I'm helping as a reader, I like giving direction as well, if they want it, that is. So I fell in love with that. But then the post-production part, that's where I have no idea what's going on. I'm like waiting for my producer to be like,
you can watch it.
And I'm like, I really don't. I have no idea what to do when it comes to post-production. I'm so unaware and have no experience really, except for like my iMovie days back in high school. That's literally all I know.
That's still what I'm doing these days. iMovie if I need for a self-tape.
Yeah, exactly.
Experience with the post-production stuff when we did use that proof of concept, and we walked in, like the director was like, okay, come to the editor's place or whatever, who was also doing the score and everything.
Yeah, had the editor, the music and the
editor. We're working together on whatever, and that's how bad we are with post-production. We came in to sit down and watch a viewing of it, and we didn't realize that it was one of those viewings where they had the music really low and
no, it was the music too high. They were purely trying to show us the sound, and they were showing us the visuals, but they were really showing us listen to the score. They didn't say this at the start. So we're sitting down,
such
and me and Shay thinking, can't hear our voices say the script. What the fuck is going on? And then after it, they turned to us with these excited faces because it was like an original score. So the music, like the guy who done the music was there, the composer was sitting there, and we were just like, me and Shay go,
it's really good, but can we bring it down? And then they go, what? And we're like, the music, can
we got it.
And they looked at us, no,
they're like, this is a such and such viewing, whatever it was called, where it specifically shows just like you're showing. And we were like, oh, they're like, guys, can we replay it for them, but bring it all down to the normal levels? And we were like,
so embarrassing. Like, next time we do something like that, we should get more educated.
Oh, it was so embarrassing.
Like probably typical acting.
Did you act in your short film as well, Orla? Like, how did you find directing yourself? Because we struggled with that on a couple of our short films. We hated it.
Oh, really? I think I had a good team and I had a good actor to bounce off as well, and I kind of trusted them to give notes if I needed them, and I'd watch playback as well. But I think also just because now with self-tapes as an actor, you are self-directing all the time. Now it's kind of like a skill you have to have. And so although you probably might not enjoy it, you do it, and you can do it because you have to do it for your self-tapes anyway. So
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Well, we try and do it to each other more.
We're lucky. I guess we're lucky that we have each other. So like I try and give Shae things. Like Shae will be like, how are you thinking of this? Like, this is how I've blocked the scene. And I'll be like, I like that, but change this and this.
I really struggle with getting in my own head about it.
Yeah. Like I prefer someone else to give me, like, I'm such a piece. Like, give me, like, you know how you said you love giving direction. Like, I love people like that. Give me all the direction, and then I'll get out of my head. I'll just interpret whatever you're saying and just go for it, rather than if I watched a playback back and watch myself, I'd be like, oh, I hate how I did this. I'm a bit too self-critical. Then I go back to try and re-perform it, and it's just like I'm too in my head about it, where I'm not in the moment, I guess. Not in the thing.
I think if I was doing a bigger film, then I would have wanted a director, or I just wouldn't have acted in it. But because it was a really short, like it was a short film, so it was pretty simple, and I already had like a very strong idea of how I wanted it to look anyway. So I think just because of the film itself, it kind of came easy. But I think with a bigger film like yours, like a longer piece, I think then I probably would have struggled as well, to be honest. Because I like having a director as well. I had no idea.
Sorry, I had no idea that you loved directing so much. Like, I feel like we need to collaborate on something now that Orla can like direct us in.
Yeah, definitely.
So I have definitely a few ideas in the works for early next year. I was like, I was just thinking, we kept going. We're going to get to direct this. Who are we going to get to direct this? Because we've decided after that we're not doing it ever again. And I'm like, we worked together so well, and I didn't realize you loved it so much. So it's so good.
Yeah, definitely. Hit me up. I'm going to do more directing.
Yeah.
And have you started kind of working the next script or anything like that now that you've finished with this one? Like, has it inspired you to keep doing more, or?
I already had like a few things in development, but I've kind of paused on them for a little bit just because things have picked up quite a lot with Cabaret work, and because, you know, I'm producing my own shows and then also putting together the like we're wanting to do the Adams show again as well, when now we're doing like these Christmas shows as well. So it's just a really busy end of year. So I've been really focused on the Cabaret stuff, and I'm really enjoying it as well. But I definitely want to get onto those ones that I've got in development next year. But yeah, I've got a bunch, because I also do poetry as well. So I'm working on a poetry book at the moment too. So that's kind of like my writing inspiration right now.
Love that.
Yeah. So that's kind of the next thing I want to get out, is a book. Yeah.
Such a creative person, aren't you?
I know what's the important thing, like, as you can see, like, Taryn and I are such as well big advocates for actors to, like, when something's standing still or whatever, don't just stop. Like,
don't wait for opportunities.
Like, keep going and find different creative ways. Like the fact that you're doing poetry and cabaret and short films and directing and everything. Like, is that your biggest advice for actors as well when the industry is kind of standing still? Like, to be brave enough to do that?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think I would be able to get through acting if I didn't have other creative outlets. It's definitely what keeps me motivated, because you can't purely rely on making it as an actor alone, because that pressure in itself is going to hold you back. So you need to have other outlets that can keep you motivated and creative and enjoying the journey still, and not just forever feeling stuck. And so, yeah, I always recommend finding any other kind of creative outlet that you can, because if you just try really hard at something you enjoy, opportunities will just come. So like, don't stop, just keep going, find other things. And whether it's acting or something different, like now I'm doing cabaret, I'm enjoying it and I'm loving it, and I'm still doing my auditions and working on acting, but I'm not feeling stuck. At least I still feel like I'm doing things that I enjoy.
I love that.
I just feel like that is like the perfect place to finish. Like, that was such a great piece of advice to send, Orla. You're so wise. We love you. And I think like this is why we all get along so well, because we're all so like-minded in so many ways. But thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. You had so much great stuff, and so many great things to say to actors who are probably feeling that this year has been so weird, and how different places your journey can go to still make you happy and still love performing in different ways. I think it's such a great thing for people to hear. It doesn't just have to be the one thing you have to do, like so many other things to do. So thank you for coming on. We've loved having you.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it's been lovely.
Yay. Well, we'll catch everyone else next time on the Unfamous Files. Woohoo!